All right. I think I'm live. Hello, I'm Steph. Mark is meant to be joining me today as usual, but he is having some technical issues for some reason. I cannot hear him. His microphone, something's going on. So, all right, I'm going to try and bring him on. Hopefully this works. If it doesn't, he might join me next to me. Okay, Mark, no, cannot hear you. Oh, how annoying. I don't know why this is happening. All right, that's okay. Well, maybe we can just both be on the same camera then. If you want to come here, yeah. All right, so I think today, this is Mark's idea. He was going to try bringing on ChatGPT, and we can ask ChatGPT some questions related to animals and animal rights and veganism and that kind of thing. All right, here's Mark.
That was a fail.
Oh, it's okay. It's going to be weird doing this with both of us. It's going to be weird with both of us in the same video. I'm so used to talking to you like in a different way, not talking to the camera. Anyway, so we're going to be talking to ChatGPT today.
Well, it's going to be a bit hard because I don't have access to a computer, but
we can use
do
this
it on
computer.
the screen. Maybe.
Yeah. So, Mark, do you want to tell us a bit about the animal in the thumbnail?
Yeah, I'm really unorganized, but he's Ferdinand the bull at Freedom Hill.
We've got I can't be sitting up here and you're back there, so let's.
I've just got nothing to sit on, that's all. I'll just try and find. I had written down some thoughts on it because there was something quite interesting. But
is Ferdinand the bull at Freedom Hill?
Yeah, Ferdinand the bull's at Freedom Hill.
So we're actually going to Freedom Hill Sanctuary tomorrow, which will be exciting. Haven't been there in years, I think. And I think they've moved since we've been there last. So it'll be really nice to see all the animals again. Maybe see Alfie, the sheep that Mark rescued.
And orange peel, maybe.
And maybe orange peel, yeah. Yep, orange peel. So that's going to be good. It's like, I think, a bit of a tour that they're holding to maybe raise money as well. Usually we wouldn't really pay to go to, see animals or, especially like places like a zoo or even wildlife sanctuaries where they do like breeding programs and we wouldn't pay to go and see animals like for entertainment so that the place could profit off of, people paying to go see the animals for entertainment. But Freedom Hill Sanctuary, it's a sanctuary. They don't do any breeding programs. It's not like always open to the public. But also the money that we're paying to go, the reason that they're doing tours is so that they can keep the animals that they've rescued alive and they can pay for the animal feed and all that kind of stuff. So we figured, we know the place, we're very comfortable with Freedom Hill. As we've said, Mark rescued a couple of sheep who live there now. So they rescue animals only, and any profits go towards trying to actually keep the animals alive and well fed and well looked after and vet bills and that kind of stuff. So we're very comfortable going there tomorrow.
And Keystone asks, are we going to record our visit? I guess we'll just take some photos and stuff, maybe.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Unless we do a live. We could do a live while we're there, but I don't know if that might be. We're not really used to.
If we can't set up tech support for in our own home with a stable internet connection, I'm not sure how we'll do out in the country in an all sanctuary.
Yeah, it is out in the country. I don't know. Yeah, we might just take some photos maybe and then show them next time. Yeah, thanks for the idea.
Yeah. So I just had some thoughts from Ferdinand. So I'm not throwing shade at Freedom Hill, but I just thought it was interesting, like the captioning for Ferdinand. They say Ferdinand is a steer, and I didn't really know what the definition of a steer was, so I did ask ChatGPT. There we go. Now we've talked about ChatGPT. So a steer is I suppose, a male cow that's been castrated, so they can no longer breed, and it's to kind of keep their like behavior under control, and the owners can like control breeding a lot better. But I thought it was kind of interesting, like having a different name for an animal that's castrated, like a completely different name. And I know it's from like a utility point of view for farming and things, but I thought like a sanctuary using that name, I thought that was almost a bit like, I don't know, derogatory or something. Like I had a bit of a weird reaction to that. Like it takes away his like dignity, I suppose. I don't know, like what do you think about that?
Yeah, maybe like using the name that the industry kind of uses to label a castrated bull. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, and I guess it just shows like trying to change animals to fit into our world, like how much we control them. But I'm in a bit of two minds, because I think it's important that we keep calling animals that we keep in our homes pets, because that's like an accurate label, I think, of like the relationship that we have to them. I don't think we should change it to companion animal, because I think that glosses over the fact that we own them and we decide what they can and can't do. Like I think it's important to label things as they are.
Yeah, it's a bit of a contentious point. I think we discussed it a bit in another video about pets, I think. But yeah, the way that we label animals and even animal products sometimes, and it's interesting. There are a lot of euphemisms and stuff that we use to either something that the industry labels them as. And I suppose as vegans, I think it's good to be wary of labeling and how the words, the language that we use around animals. And that's an interesting point about instead of just saying that he's a male bull. Well, that's what a bull is, I guess. A male.
Well, he's not a bull anymore. That's the point. Like he's a steer.
Oh, so they don't even call them a bull anymore if they're being castrated. So. Oh.
Yeah. So I thought that was like a bit undignified almost. Like we've castrated him and now his like personhood has changed or something, you know? Like his being is altered forever. So I thought that was interesting. Like, yeah, I think I would like to still call him Ferdinand the Bull. Like I think that's who he is, and I don't think him being castrated should change his identity, I suppose. I'm not sure. I just thought it was weird. Does anybody in the chat think that's weird? Like changing the almost definition of someone because they've been castrated? I guess like a eunuch.
Well, it is, but it's the industry that does that. Freedom Hill were, I guess, just describing it how it is that, you know, I guess they were probably just using that term because that is what he is referred to, like in the industry, I guess.
Yeah, I guess maybe to point out that they had done that to him, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought that just really like stuck out to me when I was reading the caption. Like, they've rescued this bull, blah, blah, blah. Like, is it important to label him as being castrated? Like, Ferdinand the steer. It's just like, it's a bit sad, really. I think without the context, maybe. I'm sure a lot of people would just brush over it, but I don't know. That just really stuck out to me.
Yeah, we might get to see him tomorrow then.
Yeah, hopefully.
At Freedom Hill.
Yeah. Have you seen Ferdinand the movie?
No.
The kids movie?
No.
Have you heard of it?
I have heard of it, yeah.
Has anybody in the chat heard of Ferdinand the movie? I think it's called Ferdinand. And it's called Ferdinand the movie. We saw it with school, with maybe like 80 kids or something. But it was kind of good. It was like about like bullfighting industry, I suppose. And then like the bulls that didn't perform went to like the slaughterhouse, and there's this like really hardcore scene where they're like the bulls are moving through the slaughterhouse trying to rescue each other, I think, but it's like there's all the blades and it's all like sterile environment and stuff. Like it's super like pretty hardcore for a kids movie. So yeah, maybe we'll have to watch it and do a review on it or something.
Was it kind of like Chicken Run vibes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like pretty on point. So I haven't seen it for years, so maybe my memory is a bit jaded by it, but yeah, maybe we'll have to see if it's on YouTube or something.
Yeah,
streaming service.
I'd be interested to watch it. I'm curious to see any movie kind of like, especially in the mainstream, that, you know, comments on animals, the way we treat animals, animal rights, that kind of thing. So I'd be curious to watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the voice of Ferdinand is John Cena, I believe.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if John Cena's vegan. Unlikely.
I don't think so. I'm sure if he was, we would have heard about it, because vegans love to talk so much about celebrities who are supposedly vegan. So
yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well,
should I get ChatGPT up? ChatGPT. I've always said ChatGPT.
Yeah, Mark thought it was ChatGPT. Until I corrected him like the other day.
Like just before I put it up on YouTube. So I was very lucky.
It's weird because you've been using it.
I know.
Like you've used it so many times and you've seen other people use it and you still called it ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Wait, I'm confused. Which one is it? Should I get the AI on my phone or on a computer? I guess we can like share screen.
We want people to be able to see it. So do you
maybe we should sit on the floor and do this.
Do you know how to do it? You can do it.
Yeah. I might have to log in though.
You don't have to log in, I don't think.
I might just log in under your name, I guess.
No, you don't have to log in. It just comes up like that.
Yeah, because you're signed in, aren't you?
No.
Okay. All right. Should we try and share this? All right. So have you shared screen before?
No, but that's why I'm letting you do it, because I don't know exactly.
So you click this button here and then
you can give me a tutorial later, Mark.
Okay.
So there we go.
And then usually I just do this with the tabs. Okay. So hopefully you guys can see our screen here, and we can still see everybody in the chat over here.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Is there any questions that anybody wants to ask ChatGPT? Like, are zoos vegan or something?
I want to know. What is veganism? That's the first thing I would like. I want to know what it says. Oh gosh, it's given us an essay. Gee.
Holy.
Lifestyle and dietary choice. No. Already I hate it. Lifestyle and dietary choice that seeks to eliminate the consumption of animal products and byproducts. I mean, it's not wrong, I guess. This includes not only meat, but also dairy, eggs, blah, blah, blah. Veganism is motivated by ethical, environmental, and health reasons. Ethically, vegans believe in the inherent value and rights of animals, and they oppose the exploitation and cruelty involved in animal agriculture. Well, just taking it sentence by sentence. Okay, wait, I'll just read this. Environmentally, veganism is seen as more sustainable as animal agriculture is a significant contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, deforestation, water pollution. Additionally, many people adopt vegan for health reasons, believing that plant-based diet can offer numerous health, such as lower risk of certain diseases and better overall well-being.
Okay, so it starts with the ethics, I suppose.
Well, it starts by saying that it's a lifestyle and dietary choice. I guess that's technically true. The way I would word it is by saying that it's an ethical principle. I always prefer to say that veganism is an ethical principle. First and foremost, it's an ethical principle. And then that ethical principle, which it's the principle against the exploitation of animals. or exploitation and cruelty to animals. And then that principle influences lifestyle and dietary choices, but it's not a lifestyle or diet in itself. That's the way I think of it. But anyway,
I do like how it says seeks to eliminate the consumption of animal products and byproducts, because I think that's important. Like, even if we are hedged into a corner and we do use animal products, like the classic, there's animal products in the road or like cars or like your phone or something like that, just something random. Like, I think it's important to move towards and move in the direction of eliminating the use of animal products. So I think that's got like a goal in mind, I suppose, which is good. Like, when I talk to people in the public, like helping them move towards that goal, like even if they do see things as like difficult to get rid of, or like maybe they'll throw up some like hypotheticals like, oh, vegans still do this or vegans still do that. It's always we're seeking to eliminate those things, like crop deaths, for example. Like, yes, okay, let's just agree crop deaths is bad. We're seeking to eliminate that kind of thing. Not that that's strictly vegan, but it kind of just shows the like seeking to eliminate part
it's
of
like
it, I suppose.
we live in a non-vegan world, and so but yeah, the main thing is that we're looking to the future, we're trying to seek to eliminate it at some point, even if it can't be done right now. But yeah, I like that too. I do wish that they, like, just reading this and thinking about, like, if I was a non-vegan kind of reading this, like, it really does focus on diet though. Like, it says, it seeks to eliminate the consumption of animal products. I think a lot of people would think of that as like literally consuming, like eating. And also then they say this includes not only meat but also dairy, eggs, honey, and other items derived from animals. I wish they would also specifically say something that wasn't food, like leather, or something like that,
because they've said dairy, eggs, honey.
Dairy.
You assume other is like other animal derived things that people eat.
Like it's all kind of giving off lots of like food focus, and then it talks about animal agriculture, and that kind of, so it's all kind of like food related. So I wish that maybe it would have said something about more explicitly things like about leather, or also I don't think it mentions entertainment in there either, does it? So I wish they would have said something about like clothes, like using animals for like clothes, entertainment, and that kind of thing, because I don't think a lot of people think of that when they think about veganism. They just think about the diet, and this is very diet focused as well. So I wish that maybe it would have mentioned that.
It would be funny if you rewrote the definition, like this includes not only meat but also, and then include things that most people are against. So like not only meat but foie gras, wild animal hunting, like that kind of thing.
I'm gonna ask it a question. I keep pressing enter thinking that it's going to send, and it doesn't. Okay. Vegans generally avoid using leather and other animal-derived materials as part of their commitment to avoiding products that exploit animals.
Generally avoid? What does generally avoid mean?
It's a bit fluffy, isn't it?
Yeah, vivisection. Like, I heard that vivisection is like living animals. Is that right?
Vivisection?
Yeah, vivisection is experiments on live animals.
Yeah.
And dissection is experiments on dead animals.
Yeah.
I thought that was really powerful to learn that, and I only learned that the other day. Because I think people would be like way more emotive when you talk about live animals being tortured. I think that, anyway. Segue.
Yeah. So okay, it's saying the leather industry is closely tied to the meat industry. Again, it's like linking it back to like food, even if it wasn't tied to the meat industry at all, like it still wouldn't, be vegan. But yeah. All right.
Can be harmful to the environment and the welfare of animals. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't realize that skinning an animal can be harmful to their welfare.
I know.
That's news to me.
I thought that was funny too. Leather, the process of leather can be harmful to the welfare of animals. Is there a way to take someone's skin to like use it for yourself and not harm animals? I don't think so.
Utilitarian. Here we go.
All right, what are we going to ask next?
Well,
about vivisection? Should we ask about vivisection?
Well, I was gonna, like, I want to know what inherent value and rights animals have. Or maybe that's like saying vegans believe that they have rights.
Or what,
but maybe we should ask ChatGPT if animals should have rights.
What rights should animals have?
Yeah.
All right. And hang on. Yeah. Okay. And then I do want to ask it about vivisection.
I'll ask that first then if you want to do
All right.
Keystone, if you have any questions or anybody in the chat, please feel free to. Oh yeah, there you go. Live animals.
It refers to practice of conducting experiments on live animals.
Oh my god, it's really
highly controversial topic, and opinions on it may vary widely. I mean, amongst general society, yes, but maybe also amongst vegans. Although I think vegans should agree that it's wrong. From a vegan perspective, vivisection is often seen as unethical and unnecessary, as it involves subjecting animals to pain, distress, and sometimes death in the pursuit of knowledge. Many vegans advocate for the use of alternatives. Yeah. Human clinical trials do not involve animals. However, it's essential to recognize that the issue of vivisection is complex and debated within both scientific and ethical communities. Some argue that certain types of animal research are necessary for medical progress and development treatments. They contend that animal studies can provide valuable insights into biological process. I mean, yeah, I think that they can. I think obviously, like, vivisection has been a very helpful thing to the human cause, but that doesn't mean anything about whether it's ethical. Like, just because something's useful, riding horses and like eating meat, farming animals, like, of course it's been very helpful to human needs and human desires and stuff like that, but that doesn't mean it's ethical. So to me, just because something's helpful doesn't necessarily cause me to think that there's controversy around it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, there's kind of vegans tend to attack two sides of it. It's the trying to prove that animal testing is not helpful, and I've seen a lot of that, and there's a Facebook group, and I'll just look it up. It'll take me like 1 second, hopefully.
Like, it's saying it's
animal-free science advocacy. So they advocate for animal-free science, obviously, and a lot of their posts are like trying to convince people or trying to show people that we don't need animal testing, or it's not as productive as people think it is. And I think there's only like a handful of really strong evidence, or like really strong kind of progress that we've made from animal testing. A lot of it is like null and void. Most of it doesn't get through the trials. Humans are different from animals. Like, dogs can't eat chocolate, so if we decided to test chocolate on dogs, we would have killed a lot of dogs and not had chocolate for ourselves, like that kind of thing. So yeah, I think vegans tend to a lot of the time focus on that it's not helpful, it's not working. But I think what you said, it's important to recognize that even if it was helpful, even if it was moving us forward, progress, whatever you want to call that, not ethical progress, maybe scientific progress, that it's still wrong. And we understand that from humans. Like, if we used unconsenting humans in scientific trials, that would be the best way. Like, we would advance so quickly if we used unconsenting humans.
Or even like even in death, like organ donation, or people can choose to donate their body to science once they die, so that we can learn things and they can teach the next generation of doctors anatomy and things like that. But even to do that, to use someone's body once they're dead for scientific purposes, that requires consent. When they're alive, they have to consent to that. So we recognize that for
Yeah.
humans, consent is really important, even in death.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like I always try to take the same approach to non-human animals as I would to humans. If we wouldn't do it to humans, why would we do it to animals? And we have to justify that. And I don't think we can justify that. So yeah, even if, like it's saying here, to me, I'm interpreting it as it's a complex issue and it's debated within ethical communities because
we know it's wrong.
Because we know that it causes harm, but it can be really helpful to us. But to me, that's not a debate. Like, it doesn't matter if it's really helpful to us. If it's wrong, it's wrong. If we wouldn't do it to humans, why would we do it to animals? Where's the justification?
Yeah. Two things on that. I think the not using human cadavers. Are they called cadavers?
Cadavers, yeah.
Cadavers. I think that's also to protect the living, because there was some serial killers and things that would kill people and then sell their bodies and things for science, because they wanted them in a particular condition and things like that. So there's that. But also it's interesting that a living, breathing, sentient animal has less moral value than a dead person, like a dead human, dead non-human animal. Wait, hang on. A living non-human animal has less value than a human animal.
Yes.
Like a dead human animal.
Yes.
It's just really weird.
That last paragraph, overall, the debate over vivisection raises challenging questions about balancing the interests of humans and animals, the ethics of scientific research, and the search for alternatives. Yeah, and that's really what it comes down to, isn't it? It's balancing the interests of humans.
It's bullshit.
And animals, but we don't balance it.
We don't balance it. It's not balanced at all.
We always favor ourselves. We always favor human interests. And you can argue that that's just part of evolution, that any species would favor their own interest in their own species. But
any gender or any sex. Or
but we're evolved. We're evolved now, and we can actually reason a lot better, and also we can recognize the prejudice, and we can recognize that favoring your own interest just because it's your own species or something is actually logically flawed in some ways. When it really boils down to it, why? Really, when it comes to sentience, inherent value, what really is the difference between a human and
moral difference?
A whale, or what is the moral difference between a human and a whale, or a cow, or a rabbit? So now we can reason a lot better, kind of past our evolutionary instincts, I think.
Yeah, I like saying what's the moral difference, because I don't like getting sucked into the name the trait game. Where just what's the trait that humans hold that they're above animals? So I like saying moral difference, because it kind of brings it back to it doesn't matter how many legs we have or what utility we hold, that kind of thing.
What was the question we were going to ask before?
What rights do we think animals should have?
Okay, we'll do that one, and then Keystone has another one.
Maybe we should put all the if we name all the animals and then we put them all into a lottery for vivisection, but also the humans get their name in the lottery for vivisection too, and they just pick a name out of the hat. See, that would be balancing interests, wouldn't it? Once we're all equal, then I think we can look at it from that perspective.
Okay, what rights should animals have is a complex and debated topic touching on issues of ethics, philosophy, and law. Different ethical frameworks and perspectives offer various answers. Okay, number one, the right to life. This would entail protection against unnecessary harm and killing. Have fundamental right to live free from harm and exploitation. Right, so I feel like by saying the right to life, that's actually more to do with, against unnecessary harm and killing and no exploitation. That kind of seems like it encompasses all the things about veganism, I guess. right to freedom from cruelty. But I think the word, like just the words like right to life is very vague, and I don't see, like, I don't know, it's I don't really, we wouldn't use that term for humans, would we, that humans have a right to life? Or maybe they do. I don't know.
Maybe.
Right to freedom from cruelty. Animals should be granted the right to free. Again,
It's kind of the same
this is
thing as
it. How do you define cruelty? Like, what is cruel? And like, that's very subjective. I think, like, some things I would consider to be cruel to animals, other people wouldn't. For example, having pets, like breeding pets to keep in your house as these little ornaments. Like, I think that's cruel, whereas a lot of people don't, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, like how do you put that into a legal framework? Cruelty.
Yeah,
Like that's a very vague
it would need
thing
more
to judge. Like
it would need a lot more definition. Zoos, I think zoos are cruel. A lot of people don't. They think the animals have, if they have a nice enough habitat and things like that in the zoo, it's fine.
Well, yeah, I mean, it says this includes protection from unnecessary pain and suffering and exploitation in industries like factory farming. Everybody hates factory farming. It's so annoying. Like, well, how is factory farming causing like unnecessary pain in any like in a different way than any farm, like any animal agriculture?
Yeah.
Like, if animals do not need to be consumed, then it's all unnecessary. Like, it doesn't matter how you do it. We're just artificially creating this like scale of suffering. Like, oh, this country does it worse because they slit their throat without stunning, and then our country is less cruel because we shoot them in the head. Like, but if it's unnecessary, then it's wrong across the board. Like, why are we focusing on factory farming?
Yeah, I know.
It's like no different.
The words
like,
factory farming, it's a bit of a like
sends chills down my spine.
It's been a bit of a buzzword for like, maybe the past decade or so, and or maybe a bit more, maybe 2 decades. But yeah, it's definitely become like the hallmark kind of term for like extra cruel farming, or like it's made to be like, which it is. Well, I mean, yes, it's horrible, but I hate that there's this distinction, because it just makes it seem like other types of farming are fine. Hang on, wait, you're jumping the gun.
We can always go back. We can always go back. I just wanted to see what the definition of factory farming.
This is how you just go down a rabbit hole.
Because like how big does a factory have to be?
Hang on. Okay, we'll get back to that.
Like a hobby farm is just a small factory farm. Like it's just like, I don't know.
Right to freedom. Some argue that certain animals, particularly those with advanced cognitive abilities.
Oh, there we go. There's our name, the trait.
That eliminates all the children in our society. Should have the right to live freely in their natural habitats or in environments that meet their physiological and behavioral needs. Oh, that's very wordy. Right to freedom. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think right to freedom, like, I kind of do agree, but I don't agree with how they've worded it. Like, I would say right to freedom means right to bodily autonomy and not to be imprisoned or exploited. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. They're like, should have the right to live freely in their natural habitats. They could have just put a full stop there, but no, they have to say live freely in their natural habitats, or in an environment that meets their needs. Like,
and also
it's like from our perspective, and that's, I think, zoos, right?
Yeah.
People are like, oh, they should live in the wild, or like there's the like, what's that word for like the small text? Terms and conditions apply unless we give them a cage and paint a tree on the wall, and it meets their psychological needs. Like, it's the get out of jail free card, or rather get in jail for free card.
And I obviously I absolutely hate how they've said particularly those with advanced cognitive abilities.
Yeah.
That's horrible. Right to bodily integrity. Animals should have the right to bodily autonomy and protection from mutilation, such as unnecessary surgeries, procedures, or modifications.
Unless it benefits humans.
Oh, that's an interesting one, though, actually. Yeah. Interesting one, especially in terms of pets, because that's an area where obviously we spay and neuter a lot of pets.
Yeah, so if you actually followed these, you wouldn't be able to. I think you'd have to be vegan, right?
Yeah, probably.
It'd be-
Right to respect for natural behaviors. Animals should have the right to engage in natural behaviors essential for their physical and psychological well-being, such as socialization, foraging, and movement. Okay, well that eliminates all pets.
Yeah. You have to be vegan for these things, like.
And right
It's
to
impossible.
habitat. This right would entail protection of habitats and ecosystems necessary for the survival and flourishing of animal species. Again, I like that one. I think it would be hard. Like, yeah, I think it's a bit, fluffy because it's like, what would that really look like? Does that mean that we can't progress as it would kind of mean that we couldn't progress as a human species because we wouldn't be able to knock down forests, we wouldn't be able to like do anything really. So
Do you know what we're gonna have to do then? We're gonna have to go to space.
Well, space, that could be a habitat.
Like, I think more
No.
vegans should invest in off-world travel.
No,
Like,
oh no, we've got Mark on a tangent about space. No, he will talk about this for hours.
come on. We were watching has anybody seen the 3-body problem? I don't want to give any spoilers away. How do I explain this without spoilers?
No,
There's
can we
something
not go on
about-
a tangent though? We've only got like 15 minutes left of this stream.
I'm not sure if you said it or there was a comment made of like we should enjoy the earth because that's the environment we live in and not worry about space and like other planets and things like that. We should be looking at the awe and wonder that we have here and protecting the earth that we have here. And I said to you, Steph, we live in the universe. Like, we're so narrow-minded to think that we only live on this earth and that our ecosystem is just the earth. But like, what gives the plants energy for food? Like, it's the sun, our star. Like, what controls the tides and the movement of things? It's the moon. What stops like asteroids from hitting our earth and like as a protective barrier? Like Jupiter, the sun, the asteroid belt. Like, we are in a wider ecosystem than people think and like acknowledge. So I think it's a good endeavor to try and like branch out and explore our wider universe.
Okay,
and I
but
think
can we actually
this helps the part of like protecting environments of others. Like, if we're not going to intrude on other space, like animals, environment, and natural habitats, then maybe we should find another place to thrive.
Maybe. All right.
Sorry.
Thanks for that, Mark.
I'll do my own podcast one day about this.
You should. All right. Next one. And then we'll do the one about what is the most effective advocacy method, I think.
Oh, thanks.
So
Please don't have to check out that video.
What is the definition of factory farming? Factory farming, also known as industrial agriculture or intensive animal farming, refers to a system of agricultural production in which animals are raised in large numbers and confined in confined spaces, often in overcrowded, unnatural conditions. All farms are like that. The primary goal of factory farming is to maximize production, efficiency, and output, typically at the expense of animal welfare and environmental sustainability. Okay, yeah, that is what factory farming is, I guess. I don't think we have to read through all of this, to be honest.
That's all bullshit. It's fine.
All right, let's ask ChatGPT.
Focus on profitability.
What is the most
okay, that's every
effective form of vegan advocacy? Because I feel like
maybe you just go ethical advocacy and then see if it translates.
I'd be interested to see this because I think if you just do advocacy, it could say anything.
We get a lot of tips from non-vegans when we talk to them in the public about our advocacy as well. That's pretty funny. And they're like, I think this is how you should advocate for veganism. It's like, well, why aren't you vegan?
Or no, it's funnier when they see us like holding signs in the mall and talking to people or something, and they're like, you're doing it wrong, but they don't give any like suggestion as to how we could do it right, So funny. Anyway, okay, the effectiveness of vegan advocacy can vary depending on the context, audience, and goals of the advocacy efforts. Some forms of vegan advocacy that are commonly considered effective include education and outreach.
Hey,
That's
that's
what
us.
we do. Yay. Providing information and raising awareness about the ethical environmental about the ethical implications of animal agriculture. Well, yeah. And promoting the benefits of a plant-based diet. Okay, no, that's not all we do.
Oh my god.
We do education and outreach, but we talk to people about being anti-animal exploitation, the problems with animal exploitation, the problems with animal ownership, even if we get that far. And educating people about veganism.
Yeah, it's funny, like,
Public
with the environment and things, like, we don't think about that for ourselves. Like, we have human rights that supersede any kind of environmental or health implications, like, but we don't do that for animals. Like,
this can be done through public talks, workshops, leafleting, distributing educational materials, and online content such as videos, articles, and social media posts.
Yeah, it's the other thing that's important, like, as educational resources, I suppose.
Number 2, community building and support, creating supportive communities and networks for vegans. Well, we have tried to do that, but with little success. We've tried to organize, some of the picnics we've organized, like we get maybe a few people coming along, but it tends to fizzle out. I don't know what it's like in other places in the world, but here in Adelaide, when we try to organize like dinners or picnics, like community catch-ups, like we don't really get a very good turnout. No one seems to want to really socialize. And there's maybe, I don't know how many people there are in Adelaide now, but I'm thinking it's at least like 1.5 million.
There's probably a few vegans at least.
Or maybe that's South Australia in total.
But most people are in Adelaide, though.
Most people are in Adelaide. It's the main city. But yeah, there's well over 1 million people in Adelaide. And, I think there's a fair few vegans out there, but no one seems to want to come to events. Cooking demonstrations and tastings. Interesting. That could, I think that's a cool idea. And obviously you'd have a conversation about veganism while you're doing that, I guess. Show people what vegan food can taste like, because a lot of people don't realize how amazing it can be. Corporate campaigns, encouraging companies to offer more plant-based options and adopt animal welfare and sustainability policies.
Animal welfare.
Well,
chills.
You don't have to. You could, do more, like offer more plant-based options. I think my sister Ella, who's in Glasgow at the moment studying, I think she was saying that the uni that she's at, I don't know if it's just the University of Glasgow, but they have a vegan club there, and they're trying to like get the uni to go fully vegan. And I don't know, did she say they did go fully vegan?
I'm not sure. I think so, maybe.
I know that there are
They've had a lot of success though.
Yeah, there are uni clubs around the world that like campaign for the uni to go fully vegan. Maybe they're successful. I could never see that. I could just not see that happening at Adelaide Uni though. Could you imagine the whole uni going completely vegan?
No, I can't imagine that.
They would not. They would just laugh at us.
However, I have been to the majority of the food places at Adelaide Uni, and every place I've been to so far has had vegan options. So that's good.
I think the only way you could do it would be to really harp on the environmental perspective.
The human-centric.
And maybe the health. Yeah, like
you have to get allies on board, like the environmental club and stuff like that, probably.
Yeah. But they would never go vegan. The whole uni would never go vegan just on animal ethics alone. Because, I mean, they sell lab animals for like $3. You could buy a rat to test on the rat for like $3 or some shit.
Yeah, that was interesting. Like, just being able to go on the university website and see the cost of living animals that you can buy to test on. It's just really fucked up.
That sends chills. That sends chills. Yeah.
But yeah, like the university would only do that if there was a way to profit off it. So like if there was a way for them to advertise hey, look how environmentally sustainable we are. You should come to our university, like that kind of thing. Like, yeah, then they would probably be on board with that. Yeah.
Policy advocacy, working to promote policies and regulations that support plant-based diets, animal welfare, and environmental sustainability. Again, it's always about that stuff anyway. Yeah, policies. Oh, so lobbying, lawmakers, government policies and changes. Yeah, this is, it would be interesting to almost do another video about this, because this is something that is still kind of like I like to think that I'm never just so stubborn about something that like I'm not open-minded. Like I still kind of question, is it worth like attending some of these protests to try and, like, at the moment in Adelaide, there's the ban duck shooting campaign. They want the government in South Australia to ban duck shooting as like a fucked up leisure hobby type thing that people do. And things like that. And I still, like, especially when it's a complete ban on a particular like use of animals, I still kind of wonder, like, mate, is it worth, trying to help and attend those kinds of protests? Because, in general, we kind of reject single issue and welfare campaigns because we think that they can be problematic in a lot of ways. But yeah, my mind is still kind of like, don't know, maybe it's worth trying to get the government to do something. I don't know. I think the government can do very little for animals at the moment in the scheme of things. Like, I think what really needs to happen is that the people go vegan, and then more change will happen because of that.
Like, yeah, like we want the government to be reflective of the society. Like that's kind of how we want our governments to run, like to reflect the views of society. And if they're allowing people to go and shoot animals for fun, like that just shows you what society values. So yeah, it's kind of weird to, I don't know, I'm not sure. It's kind of contradictory to what we kind of want out of a government, to kind of protest ban duck shooting. But I'm not sure.
This last one's interesting. Oh, what? Hang on, we've got a comment there. There's an American vegan lobbyist group, Agricultural Fairness Alliance. The founder has a handful of YouTube interviews. I think the latest. Oh, okay. Oh, debug your brain. Oh, okay. We'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I've heard in America the like subsidies and things for meat is a big problem. Like when people buy meat products, like most of it has been like subsidized by taxpayers and things. I don't know if that's true, but I don't think it's as bad in Australia, but there's certainly...
It definitely happens in Australia.
It's certainly like lobby groups and like the animal industries have their fingers in a lot of pies and like, yeah.
Meat, yeah. I mean, I think in any culture around the world, like most cultures around the world, meat is a big thing. But yeah, certainly it is the case in Australia. Like you've got so many campaigns and ads encouraging people to eat meat.
Yeah, and that's a problem as well, as meat becomes more expensive to make, because the people value it and because the government values it, they'll subsidize it to make it affordable. So like, even if technically you're looking at like welfare campaigns that make it more expensive to raise animals and like keep animals, then people in government will work out ways to make it cheaper, like take more tax money and things, because from like a non-vegan point of view, you wouldn't want your people to miss out on what they want, which is dead animals. So like, you work out a way to make it cheaper than make it work.
Oh, that's interesting. Dairy, is that in the US? Dairy seems to have the most political support via subsidies and price guarantees. That's interesting.
Well, yeah, I've heard they dump a lot of dairy in America. Is that true? Like, a lot of it is already paid for, and then they can't get rid of it fast enough, and they just dump a lot of it. Maybe that's why it's all in our snacks.
Australia. That probably happens in Australia.
Maybe that's why it's all in our like snacks that would otherwise be vegan, like contains milk. solids and
let's
shit.
get back to this.
Sorry.
Celebrity and influencer endorsements is number 6 effective vegan advocacy. Engaging celebrities, influencers, and public figures to promote veganism. That one's so interesting. Celebrity endorsement and partnerships can help normalize plant-based living and reach people who may not otherwise be exposed to vegan advocacy. Oh,
Name a vegan celebrity.
interesting.
Name a vegan celebrity. I'll give you $10. No.
Like, I get it that, like, obviously using people with a lot of public following to promote the idea of the ethics of veganism and just get that message out there could be helpful, but I hate this like vegan celebrity culture. It's so like
that's how you get Joaquin Phoenix riding a horse, like,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, because I don't know, it's just weird, like yeah, I think 99% of the time where vegans like, oh, this celebrity is vegan now, it's like they're actually not. And yeah,
exactly, it's horrible when they fail on a vegan diet.
Often
they just go back on it because they
often that is what it is though. Like the celebrity is not necessarily actually vegan, they're just like doing a vegan diet, which I don't think is veganism. Like if you're just doing a vegan diet but you're not like fully trying to be actually vegan in your life, like by not purchasing clothes like leather and things like that, and not attending zoos and not riding horses, like it's a whole thing, it's not just diet. So when celebrities are supposedly vegan, it's more just that they're just trying a plant-based diet, and they might not actually be vegan. So
well, vegan, like plant-based stuff is a niche still, so they're just trying to break into new market territory. Like, do you really think the celebrities that advertise Coca-Cola only drink Coca-Cola? Like, no, they're just trying to make money off it. And a lot of vegans, when they put out, a lot of celebrities, when they put out like a vegan makeup brand or a vegan fashion brand or have a vegan restaurant, it's to make money.
Yeah.
Like, do you not think they also have a stake in non-vegan stuff?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there are probably a minority of celebrities out there who, when they say that they go vegan, they're actually thinking about the animals, and they have that in mind, and their motive is that they want to try and do right by animals. Even then, like, I just see so much cringe stuff. Like, I saw this video by Billie Eilish, who is supposedly vegan.
Let's look it up.
I don't know if she still considers herself
We've
vegan.
got the power. How do you spell Billie?
Yeah, that's right.
Eilish.
E-I. But I saw this video by
I don't know how to spell.
I'm sure ChatGPT
It'll know what I
know what you mean. But she was saying in this video, like, that she's like, oh, I'm not one of like those vegans that is like all she was basically saying that she was basically kind of being like a pick-me vegan. Like, she was saying she's not all preachy and stuff, and I'm just like, oh, like, you should be preachy if you actually care about animals, and you're vegan because you care about animals. You would want other people to be vegan, and you know, you wouldn't be, I don't know, she was just being very pick-me about it, and I just was cringing.
Yeah, like, how can you be vegan and not care if other people are vegan? That doesn't make sense.
On my last update, Billie Eilish has publicly stated that she follows a vegan lifestyle. She's spoken about her commitment to veganism in interviews, social media, her commitment to it, but then she like dogs us out when
yeah.
I wish I could remember what she said, but it was just very much like, you know, oh, I'm not like one of those vegans that's all preachy and stuff. I don't know. Yeah. Can't provide direct quotes as my training data only includes information up until January 2022.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That was ages ago. We needed more powerful. We needed more powerful AI or updated AI.
But anyway,
I'm sure there's others.
I don't think we should be like putting celebrities on like such a massive platform. I think we should be careful when it comes to veganism and celebrities, because often they're not actually vegan, and then when they do eventually fail or like do something that's not vegan, it kind of just comes crashing down, and it almost does more harm than good or something. But so I think we need to be careful when we like worshipping celebrities for saying that they're vegan. I think we should note like, oh, this celebrity has said that they're vegan, and then be critical of them almost, and like hold them to a certain standard, and not worship them, but rather keep an eye on them and
keep tabs on them.
Yeah, and like what's the word? Be critical, not shame them, but like yeah, hold them accountable when they do stuff that's not vegan. So with
but don't be a judgy vegan though.
I don't have any words to respond to that. But like with Joaquin Phoenix, he did that really good. I thought it was a really good speech at, was it the Oscars one year?
I think
or
so.
Something? He did a speech about like the way that we use animals, and did he mention dairy cow or something like that?
We can ask ChatGPT, but I can't spell Joaquin or Phoenix.
But so, he's done some good stuff, but then we should still be critical. We shouldn't worship him for it. We should just be like, oh, cool. Yeah, good on you. But then if I don't know, I haven't actually seen this myself, but Mark has said that he has ridden a horse.
Yeah,
he rides
for the Napoleon movie. He rode horses.
Oh, as part of a movie. Yeah.
We have such good CGI and like.
And it wasn't CGI?
No, it wasn't.
Okay, so he rode
a horse. He had a vegan hat, apparently.
He rode a horse as part of the movie. Okay, so we should be critical of that, like we shouldn't just worship people when they say they're vegan. We should be like, that's great, but like hold them accountable to it,
Yeah, and just be like, educate. This is why vegans don't ride horses. And then because they're unconsenting sentient beings that, should be free.
Yeah, and we should publicly call them out when they do non-vegan stuff, because I think that is better. Like that, I think that will help. I mean, people might see that as being judgy or whatever, but I think that really it will help people take veganism more seriously, because it will show that actually the vegan community out there doesn't support this. And
the vegan community doesn't support animal exploitation? Whoa, plot twist.
I think it would help people take us more seriously. I mean, sure, there'll be those people that like don't give a crap and think that we're just being picky or judgy or whatever, but like I think it's still important to do that, and people take veganism seriously, because if we just stay quiet, we don't say anything, or we still keep worshipping him as some like vegan icon, and we don't say anything about the times where he's using animals, like that's just, where's the integrity in that? Anyway.
Yeah, maybe we just assume that he didn't know and then just educate. Hey, look.
Sure, but we've got to say something.
Mr. Phoenix, like you said you're vegan. Just letting you know. Just a heads up, Just a tap on the shoulder. Just letting you know in case you didn't know. Riding horses is not vegan.
Sure.
That's about it, Like, being vegan is about not using animals. So, in case you didn't know, it's out there now. Tomorrow, we're not going to ride horses, okay? And then he's going to be like, cool, thanks for that. Didn't think it through. There we go.
Yeah.
Or burn him at the stake. Have we
got maybe one more question for ChatGPT? I'm trying to think, maybe something to do with advocacy again, or
I was thinking rights or something, maybe.
We already asked it about that. One more question.
If animals should have the right to freedom, why are we allowed to own them?
The concept of animal ownership is complex and varies depending on cultural, legal, and ethical perspectives. In many societies, animals are considered property, and humans have legal rights to own and control them. I hope the vegans are like listening to this, because a lot of vegan.
I do not own my dog. How dare you?
It boils my blood when vegans cannot acknowledge the fact that animals are property under the law. Like, they legally are property. Okay, yes, the dog that you have, even if they're a rescue, like they're property. I support rescue, by the way, and I think we should be rescuing animals. But like, I just hate it when vegans deny that like we own animals.
Yeah.
We
It's
do.
bizarre.
They're not a companion. They are legally your property.
If you can buy someone and sell them, that's property, right?
Yeah.
It's chattel property. You can eat dogs in Australia. That's legal. Fun fact. I think South Australia is the only state that you can't. And I was talking to a lady who was getting pissy that other countries eat dogs. And I was like, oh, well, if you want to eat dogs, Australia, you're allowed to eat dogs legally. She was a bit shook by that.
I actually said that to a kid when we did activism last week. The group of boys that I was talking with, and because I had the sign that had a pig and a dog, and it was like, what is there a moral difference? And yeah, and I think one of the kids said, oh, well, we eat pigs, and I said, well, did you know that it is actually legal to like eat dogs here as well? But anyway,
yeah,
it was in context. I wasn't trying to tell them
just yelling at children in the mall that we eat dogs.
I wasn't trying to tell them that we should eat dogs. It was in context.
Yeah.
Anyway, this next sentence is interesting. The ownership is often justified on the basis of humans' superior intelligence and ability to care for animals, as well as cultural and economic factors. I like this ChatGPT just being honest, acknowledging that, yeah, the only justification we often have is that humans are supposedly superior in their intelligence, which is not a good justification. If that's what we base our justification on, that's a very shaky foundation. And also, I mean, there's so much you could say about that. Like, I also hate it when people say that humans are more intelligent because, intelligence is such a construct. Like, how do we define what is intelligent or not? And, so many animals can do so much shit that we can't do. Like, and they think in ways that we can't think, and they have different cognitive abilities to us, but it doesn't mean that ours are more superior. Like, the way that we, I don't know, just because they can't do the things, some of the things that we can do, it doesn't mean we're superior. Maybe they're superior because they can do things that we can't do. Like, it's just silly.
Instead of like looking at a task and going like, who is the most capable at doing this task, and then if it requires a particular type of intelligence, picking that person, or if it requires a particular skill set, picking that person to do that, I think that's okay. But we're kind of just like picking intelligence as this like broad concept and then backtracking and using it as an excuse to exploit others.
Yeah, well, we're thinking
this is a trait. Because we hold this trait, we can therefore do X, Y, Z.
Yeah, and
it's just not relevant.
The trait is a very human-centric trait. Like, it's intelligence in the way that we think of intelligence as humans. So,
it should be like on the basis of your ability to glow in the dark. Like, ownership is often justified on the basis of an animal's ability to glow in the dark. If you can glow in the dark, then I think that's pretty cool, and you should be able to exploit others.
I'm trying to think of like a good example of something just that's really wacky that like some animals can do, like ways that they think that we can't think. It doesn't really matter in the end. I think intelligence doesn't matter, but like
how do you spell legal?
Legal, Legal. I don't know, but some animals, they can. Oh, what was that show? We were watching a show on Netflix. It was Connections. Was it Connections or something?
Varies by state.
And there were like these birds that could predict like hurricanes or something like that. Remember?
Yeah, when the birds migrated early.
Yeah.
But like, depending on how early the birds migrated, it would determine like how severe the hurricane would be.
Yeah. So like, they don't know how the birds. Even now, they don't know how the birds are doing it, but the birds migrate according, like, it's like they can predict how, well, I don't know if it's really that they're predicting, but there's something that they can pick up in the environment that tells them, when to migrate, and that correlates with how severe the weather in that part of the world is going to be. And like just stuff like that, like animals are amazing and they can do so much stuff that we can't do and that we can't even understand. You know, so I just hate it when people say humans have superior intelligence. It's just, yeah,
It's bullshit. Well,
it's
yeah,
just our construct of intelligence.
you can eat dogs in America, I guess. Like if you can do it legally, I suppose. If there's no welfare problems, I guess. So
Yeah, yeah.
I would that like. How can someone, if you own someone, it's very hard for government or anybody else to say how you can treat them or what you can do with them because they're your property. So it's not surprising that, you know, there's no generalized, no, you can't eat dogs or you can't do this with your property.
Yeah.
So.
If they're your own property, like who's the government to kind of, you know, tell you what you can and can't do? I mean, maybe if you're making it a business or something, that might, like you're selling it, I don't know that. But yeah, so legality of eating dogs varies by state. I guess it's the same in Australia, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no federal law prohibiting, consumption of dog meat.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty cool, like what ChatGPT was saying. Like it just kind of being, I think that's the consent, like ChatGPT is just a reflection on the consensus. So without any, hopefully, like emotive prejudice. So like if you were to speak to like your average person, they would probably say stuff like this if they could like avoid the emotive undertone.
There was a lady in England that went to jail for eating a hamster. Yeah, I mean, assuming that that's true, like, yeah, it's kind of just. I mean, I think that's good. I think someone should go to jail for eating any animal. But yeah, like it's just the speciesism. It's interesting, isn't it? It's like you go to jail for eating a hamster, but you know you can have you can own chickens in your backyard and you can eat them, and it's fine. So why can you eat your pet chicken and not eat your pet hamster? Like,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, it's so weird, isn't it? The lines we draw, the arbitrary lines we draw. But yeah, I think it has a lot to do with. It is certainly really interesting though to think about like why we do that. Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with like the purpose that we assign to animals in society. Like, you know, some animals, their purpose is to solely be a pet.
We have decided that is the purpose of a hamster.
We've decided that's the purpose, and so, you know, we put up certain protections to ensure that it stays that way.
It's
or
status
you know,
quo.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm trying to make sense of something that really doesn't make sense, but I'm just trying to think, why is that the law that you can go to jail for eating hamster and not your pet chicken or something?
Because a kid doesn't want to go to school and say, "Oh, I got a new pet hamster," and then the kid next to them goes, "Oh, that's what I have for dinner."
Yeah.
Like that's what we're protecting. We're protecting the children from reality. Yeah, I was talking to a kid. I work with children, so this is not weird. A kid was coloring in a picture of a lamb, and I just said to them like, "Oh, do you like lambs?" And she said, "Yeah, they're one of my favorite animals." And then I said, "Oh, do you eat lamb?" And she like froze for like a good 10 seconds. She was like, you could see the cogs turning, and then she was like, "No." I was like, "Yeah, me neither." And I just left it at that. So there's my vegan seed for the week. Just planting those seeds. Like
Mark's out here indoctrinating the children.
Undoctrinating them.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Like
I'm just joking.
Reverse
no,
indoctrination.
That's really good. That's so awesome that you can like have that effect.
It's like using people's values and then aligning that with behavior. Like she likes sheep, so then she probably should respect them and value them and not exploit them, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just helping her fulfill her destiny, her values. There was an article this week. I think it was in which country was it in? I can't remember which country was it in. But this older couple had like this hobby farm. I think they're in their 80s, and a goat that they owned killed them both.
Oh my god.
Yeah, maybe I should look it up so I'm not just like spouting misinformation. But I just thought it was so interesting because like then they killed the goat because the goat had killed them, kind of thing. It was like,
oh yeah, It's
just so weird. Like,
it's like
the
when a
behavior
shark,
of an animal is just like,
yeah.
we just like try and
Well,
fit
that's
them into
any-
these boxes.
That's what we do to any animal.
Yeah.
If any animal is responsible for like killing a human being, we usually will kill that animal, even if it's like someone's gone swimming in deep water and a shark has killed them. Like, we want to try and kill that shark. Like,
I don't have it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, I think we should wrap up because it's been an hour and 10 minutes.
But
And,
fancy an animal fighting back, you know, and like killing someone. Like, I know a lot of vegans are a bit more like hardcore and are like, yeah, they deserved it and all that. And I'd never be like happy that a person was killed. But it's just a bit like ironic, I think. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, like we can do whatever the heck we want to animals and kill them and, you know, slaughter them in masses, but then when one of them kills us, it's like
everyone loses their mind.
Yeah, everyone goes crazy and it's just not acceptable and we kill that animal. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway. And it's funny, it's like we kill that animal for killing us, but when another human murders other humans, we don't kill them. Well, I guess actually in some parts, even in some parts of America, I think they still do that, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Australia, we don't do that. But anyway, you know, I'm not making a judgment about, you know, that. But it's just an interesting observation. It's like, yeah, animals are just so disposable to us, you know. Not us, because we're vegan, but most of the world. Anyway, on that note, lots of thoughts there today. Yeah, let's wrap up. How do you stop sharing the screen?
Just click stop sharing up here.
Dunk. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting ChatGPT stuff. Yeah, that was good. Oh, we still got that comment showing about the lady who ate the hamster. Let's go rid of that.
We don't want to end on the hamster. Okay.
All right, cool. Well, hopefully next week your microphone will be working.
We will iron out the kinks. That's the first time we've had problems.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It's very odd. Just suddenly your microphone's just not working. Weird.
Yeah, I must have like muted it somehow. There must be like a shortcut key maybe. Anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll get it ironed out. Then we'll have some photos hopefully and some stories
we'll have some photos from Freedom Hill,
our local sanctuary. Should be good. And maybe I'll ask Laura if she wants to come on as well, because she's going to come with us to the sanctuary.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
So we might have a special guest, which would be good.
We'll have a special guest at some point soon.
Yes.
But yeah, stay tuned for when our next episode will be sometime next weekend. It's so hard doing the streams on the weekend because we've always just got like different plans, like things that come up. And so we have to try and like move the time of our stream to like fit our plans and stuff like that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll always post in advance anyway. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. And we'll see you guys really soon.
See you later.
Bye.